Hi everyone, this is Johnny Fitness with personaltrainingbusiness.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm here with Rebekah Rotstein, who is a friend and colleague who is really doing big things in her personal training and fitness business. She mainly focuses on Pilates, but she does a retreat and she has a new DVD that's coming out. She even has her own certification, Pilates for Buff Bones, which is really smart marketing. There's a lot of people out there that need stronger bones. They're getting hurt. There's millions of people each year. So she's really, knows what she's doing and is doing it and is successful with all these different ventures. So I really wanted to talk to her, and just get advice and feedback from her about any challenges she's facing. I'm sure, the personal training business community would love to hear about it. So Rebekah, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to talk with you guys.
Yeah, I think it'll be really helpful for trainers because, I mean, you're just going out there and doing it yourself, and there's got to be a lot of, there's a learning curve with any one of these ventures. So, but one of the things that we can do as elite professionals, fitness professionals, is learn from other people that are doing it to help us move through that learning curve quicker. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of exhaustion as well. You forgot about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just was interviewing Brett Hobel, and he was talking about you gotta be a little addicted. He said it's a little bit like a drug, you gotta hustle. It's not gonna come by hanging out and laying back, but yeah, so you've got that hustle, obviously.
Yeah, and that's so true. And I watched that interview with Brett, and ironically, when he was looking for some Pilates people for his revamp program for a bride boot camp aspect. And so it's ironic to cross paths through him, through you as well. And I couldn't agree more. It's really about just busting your butt. I mean, if you want to make something happen, you're going to have to make it happen. It's not just going to fall into place. And
Right.
The stars will align when you set up the path for it. But you have to set up the path and then allow things to start to fall into place.
Right. That reminds me a lot of this idea of you make your own luck. You have to work hard, but then you make your own luck.
Exactly. And I think there's also the opposite extreme where you're just fighting and fighting and fighting and you're going up against a wall and you have to recognize, you know what, something's not aligning here and I have to examine and step back why it's not working.
Right.
So it can go both ways, but it's not, things don't just happen because you're lucky or you're born with certain things, that you make that destiny.
Right. Awesome. So, and you're living proof of that. So what has been some of the challenges with this product? You just came out with Pilates for Buff Bones, the DVD. Any advice you have for trainers that want to do that? When did you know it was the right time to try and pull the trigger? What were some of the challenges that you faced?
It's ironic even now that we're talking about it, because I had been thinking about doing this about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and when I first created the Pilates for Buff Bones program, and I kept wanting somebody else to produce it. I knew that there was going to be a lot of work involved. I knew there was going to be a lot of financing, etc. And I just did not want to deal with that. I wanted to be the hired talent, let me show up, do my thing, and go.
Right.
And it was sort of against that, like what I was talking about, feeling like I kept hitting up against a wall as I was really working to get some big companies to produce it. And talks would begin, but it wouldn't go anywhere. And finally this year, a friend of mine who has a lot of production experience convinced me that you want to own your own content. And I thought that was very, very valuable information. And the stars aligned at the same time as hearing about a colleague of mine who had produced something with a company that was not her own production. And it was her intellectual property, but she had basically signed it over to a company that actually wasn't putting it out there. And with Pilates for Buff Bones, I spent a lot of time and money, about 1.5 years, getting a U.S. registered trademark for it. So the idea of somebody producing this and never letting it get to market was unfathomable. So at that point, I realized I have to do this myself. So I think the things to consider when you're trying to put out your own product is a couple things. What is your goal? What's your mission? Are you trying to make money off it? Are you trying to spread the word and just build your brand from which to create other products or projects? when you're trying to find a company to work with, that was an interesting experience, the initial sourcing and sending out requests for proposals. I talked to, one of the best pieces of advice I can give for this is talk to people that you know in the industry who have done similar things,
right,
or people that you know who work in the field of the type of company or vendor you're trying to hire. So if you're trying to find a photographer, talk to photographer friends of yours for advice. What are reasonable rates? What are things you should be looking for? I remember feeling totally lost, thinking, I'm trying to hire a production company. I'm a Pilates instructor. What do I know about what I need in a contract,
right,
etc.?
right.
So I talked to colleagues who have done this, but I also talked to friends and relatives who are in the production field. And that gave me so much information. So that's something I definitely would recommend when you're just even looking for who do you want to work with. And then when you find who you're trying to work with, making sure that it's a company that is in line with what your vision is. Because the last thing you want is, say you're going for something really edgy and then you get like a real corporate industrial. Or say you're looking for something that is very professional but very conservative, and then you get this real edgy MTV look. So you have to make sure that you're very clear about what your expectations are and what your vision is.
And I guess that's a process, because as you do it, you realize what you like and what you don't like, and that's where a lot of the work comes in.
It does. And also just looking out to see what are things that I like out there. Oh, I like the way this looks, so that you are even aware of what you do like and what you don't like.
Right. Awesome.